We are live. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. I got a completely new setup here, and this is my first time ever using it. So if the audio sounds good, let me know. You got the chat up. Look at this. I don't need a. Oh wow. We got Eric Swanson in the house. Thank you so much, dude. I wouldn't even have a YouTube channel if it wasn't for Eric. Um, Nate Brown, Nova. What is up, guys? So, well, what do you guys want to talk about? Anything exciting happen in the world of MMA lately? As a Max Holloway fan, it doesn't get much better than that, huh? Holy shit. You literally couldn't script it better. I've heard people say this a few times now, but I said it last night, right when it happened. If there was a movie about mixed martial arts and in the final scene, what happened last night happened, you'd be like, it was a good movie, but that the ending was kind of corny. That would never fucking happen, you know. A guy's winning a fight for 24 minutes and 50 seconds, and then he decides to just stand in the center of the octagon and trade hooks until somebody falls to the floor. Like, oh my God. That was just nuts. I was thinking about it. The only downside to a card that is just like utterly stacked like it was last night is that there are so many amazing things that happened that are just going to get forgot about. Like Yuri Prohachka versus Rakic. Those dudes went to fucking war. That was a great fight. Yuri had a performance of a fucking lifetime. I mean, Yuri's had a lot of amazing performances, but that was an awesome fight. And it's probably going to get forgotten about, you know? Renato Moicano coming back from the brink of death and winning it against Jalen Turner, that's just going to get forgotten about. Nobody's even mentioned it. Like, no one's even going to talk about it, but it's just nuts for a fight to end in the last second like that. And how fitting. Like, it's for the BMF title, the bad motherfucker belt that just made up thing to like that's the Max Holloway is the perfect guy, and Gaethje. They are the perfect candidates for the baddest dude in the organization title, because he is. I mean, he had no reason to do that. He could have backpedaled, put his hands up in the air like he's the champ. Everyone would have cheered. No one would have said nothing about it. But he's like, nope. You know what? I'm going to give this dude 10 seconds to change this whole thing, 10 seconds to change his life. Let's stand right in the octagon, right in the center, toe to toe, and we're just going to swing. And if somebody lands, it lands. Well, it's God's will. And dude, put him out with 1 second left. I went freaking ballistic. I was watching it with my cousin. We started jumping up and down. We're fucking screaming, going nuts. My dog came in the room. He was like sound asleep. He fucking jumped up. He's barking at me, and oh my God, it was insane. And then what? Like an adrenaline dump. I didn't even need the last two fights. I'm like, it can just end right now. I was exhausted, like emotionally. Plus, being a huge Max Holloway fan like that, I was just like, please just win. He landed that spinning back kick at the end of round one. I'm like, all right, awesome. He hurt him. He fucking broke his nose. And then he at every time he landed that spinning back kick, I'm like, oh, thank God. And he's fighting a Max Holloway fight. Perfect scenario, absolute perfect scenario for me. I was telling this to my cousin. I'm like, if Max can go out there and fight a Max Holloway fight and box Justin Gaethje's face off for 5 rounds, not take that much damage, call out Ilya Taporia, go back down to 145, get that fucking strap back. Like, after that third Volkanovski fight, I kind of thought it was over with. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know, man. It was like Volkanovski was on a whole nother level. Like I've been saying all year, it's a changing of the guard. And nope. When Little Nova said the broken nose changed the fight, 100%. I mean, Max Holloway said himself, any less of a man wouldn't be able to fight 20 minutes without a nose. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what I feel so bad for Justin Gaethje. You know, he put just as much into it as Max Holloway did, and then to get the lights put out with 1 second left, and he's going to have to do some pretty spectacular shit in the twilight of his career to not be known as the guy that Max Holloway knocked out in the last second of the BMF fight in UFC 300. You know what I mean? Like, that's some legacy shit right there. Dude, there's so much to talk about. One thing I was so excited in my Aljamain Sterling versus Cater video, I mentioned a specific transition that happens when you're on somebody's back and you have a seatbelt and they start to escape, or you can even bait it and like let them start to escape and you transition to an arm triangle. And that specific transition happened 4 separate times during the fights last night. And then Wei Li nearly finished the fight with it. I'm like, please finish the fight so I can talk about this. But she didn't finish the fight with the arm triangle, but Renato Moicano hit that transition. Diego Lopez hit like a version of it, and then Wei Li nearly finished a fight with it. The only guy who didn't do it was Aljamain Sterling. I think Max's team seen something with that spinning back kick that Justin was vulnerable to. Well, he was asked that specific question in the press conference, and he basically just said like they asked him just that. Was it something you just thought up on the fly, or was it something that you seen and your team talked about? And it sounded like his team talked about that when Justin sits down on his punches, he's there to get hit, which he is. Like, he's not. He's the opposite of Max, where Max is constantly moving and constantly throwing. Like, his feet are always going. He's always throwing. He doesn't just sit down on something and watch it. And Justin does. So he's like, he's there to get hit. So we knew we were going to. And the other thing, too, is you noticed that kick was meant for his body. It was like meant for the liver, and it hit him in the face. And that's because Justin, like, when he thinks you're going to throw something, he dips down real low, but then he stays there for a split second. And it was there all night. It was fucking beautiful. The audio sucks. Little Nova says it's good. Eric Swanson said the audio is clipping. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but probably not good. Oh, I'm a little loud. All right, I'll turn it down a little bit then. Let me know if that's better. I turned it down a touch. I was getting all excited. I'm yelling into the microphone here. So then after that fight, Poatan puts on an awesome performance. I wish I could share it. Somebody sent me a meme of it's like 2 groundhogs or woodchucks or something, and the one woodchuck is like staring right into the camera, and the other one has his hand on the other woodchuck like this, like, fucking, I'm gonna take care of it. That was Poatan last night. Fucking gets hit right in the balls, puts his hand on Herb Dean like, yo, bro, listen, I'm taking care of this. And then 5 seconds later, just he sends Jamal Hill to the land of wind and ghosts. That was great. You see Jamal's eyes when Poatan was landing those follow-up shots. His head is literally bouncing off the canvas, and his eyes are freaking going everywhere, and his tongue's sticking out like. And he caught him. He didn't even catch him square, like with the 2 knuckles. He caught him with the pinky, the fucking pinky, with what they call a Mexican hook. It's like a shovel uppercut. You know, a traditional hook comes straight from the side like this. A Mexican uppercut is like a shovel hook. It's nicer because there's a little more reach on it. Hooks are typically shorter, but the shovel punch or Mexican uppercut is like has a little more, you can extend your arm farther with it. So, but dude, oh, it sucked today. I was so fucking pumped up. I woke up. I had practice first thing in the morning, and there was a big jiu-jitsu tournament yesterday in locally here. So there wasn't a lot of people. There was like 5 people there, and they weren't really MMA fans. And then today I had to go. I didn't have to, but today I hung out with my dad, and he's all juiced up for NASCAR, and I'm hanging out with my wife. I'm like fucking dying to talk about MMA and UFC. I'm like, please, somebody. I was explaining what happened with Max yesterday to my dad, and he was like, "Oh, cool." He entertained it. He was like, "Oh yeah, let me see. Bring it up on YouTube. That's pretty cool." But the gravity of what happened, like unless you're an MMA fan, unless you were watching that shit and follow the sport, like one of the most iconic moments in the history of the sport, like that will live in infamy. Yeah, I'm familiar with the shovel jab. I'm actually taking my first official boxing class this upcoming Thursday, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but there's a guy named Firas Zahabi who is actually the head coach of TriStar, and he has a YouTube channel. He goes on very rarely, but it is by far and away my favorite piece of content on YouTube, and he's actually live right now, which is cool. But anyway, he has instructionals he sells, and one of the instructionals is like a man's guide to throwing a punch or some shit like that. And I got it a little while back. John Dung wants to know, would you guys rather drink a gallon of rotten milk or run a marathon in the freezing cold weather in summer clothes? Definitely definitely run a marathon. Nate, how did you do last night? What did I miss? Did Nate fucking clean up or something? 460 times his money. He had 1 unit. Nate, repost that. Here. You hit 2 plus 1,400 parlays and a plus 46,000 parlay because of Max inside the distance. What? You didn't hit up your boy MMA Jackal and fucking spread the love, bro? That is fucking awesome. What were the other legs? I'm going back in the chat trying to find it here. Wow. Having a laptop is so much better than using my phone and a fucking tablet. Like, I feel like a real professional here. Oh, yeah. Chepe from last week parlayed with Max inside the distance at 750. What else? Here, I'm gonna go back to the bottom of the chat. Post what you what exactly you had in that parlay. I did pretty good. I'm not a crazy better. I don't do big amounts, and I don't do like a ton of research. One guy who's in this chat all the time is like Paku MMA. I don't know if his name's Paku MMA, but Paku anyway. And dude's sharp as a fucking tack when it comes to betting MMA. And I'm lucky enough that we're homies and he lets me tail his bets. So I tailed him. And I also, there's if you guys do like betting MMA and you're not familiar with it, there's a guy named Uncle Wheezy on YouTube who I think is probably the sharpest better in mixed martial arts. What he does with he made an entire spreadsheet that you can like buy on his Patreon or whatever, and he taught himself how to code just to make this spreadsheet, and this is what he does full time. Anyway, every week he puts up a greasy four-legger parlay, and that hit last night, which actually I bitched out and I was able to cash out of it at I put $20 on it, and it was if it hit it would have been like $200, but they let me cash out for like 130 or something like that, so I cashed out, and then that was it. Then I hit, what else did I hit on? Believe it or not, I didn't want to jinx Max with my bets, so I stayed away from betting Max Holloway. I know I said I was going to max bet him because he's my boy, but I pussed out. Let me see. I'll bring it up real quick. I'll tell you what I hit. I had Charles Oliveira. They allow you to do these finish only props now, so I had Charles Oliveira. It was a plus 165 decision, no action. Then Diego Lopez inside the distance, and then that greasy four-legger. And I ended up my, if you want to call it that, my units are like $20. That's my average bet, is like $20. So I bet 5 units on the day, and I ended the day up 2 units. So I'm I'm cool with that. I got paid $40 to watch the fights. You guys are talking about the smell of rotten milk. If the UFC had to shut down, what would you want to see as their last fight? Their last card? Or the Dana White versus Brock Lesnar? I have such a. I think MMA fans have a love-hate relationship with Dana White, right? I mean, without the guy, we wouldn't have the sport we love, but he's a fucking. I don't know. He needs to pay these guys that made him a billionaire. I'm ready to rock and roll. I got my blessed mama mug. I got the new setup here. I got a fancy fucking microphone. It lights up. That's pretty fucking sweet. Lights. I still got to work on the lighting situation. I'm not a expert on video production, and it's a little shadowy here, but it is fucking. This is legit. It's my first time streaming on YouTube. Eric Swanson has actually held my hand through this whole fucking process and made this shit happen. I'm so thankful for it. But last night I was taking notes during the fights, and I just during the I kind of fell off during the Justin Gaethje Max Holloway fight. We're just sitting on the edge of my couch like fucking. Oh my god, so many things to talk about. Yeah, the only note I have for Charles Oliveira, Arman Sarukian. That's another fight that just gets lost. It was a great fight. That was fucking amazing. That could have headlined a pay-per-view, and we all would have been absolutely happy with it. But the only note I wrote was everything we thought it would be. I understand. It seemed like Arman was pretty upset about the split decision, but I get it. Charles Oliveira was out there throwing up all sorts of submission attempts, and who's that? Damn, his name slipped in my mind. That ref last night. He's a former fighter pilot, the black dude with the bald head. He is more than anyone else right now, I think he is the most likely to like get himself involved in the fight. Like Arman didn't want any part of going to see the doctor. He just wanted to continue. And he like forced him to go see the doctor. Then there's the language barrier. So I'm like, great. They're going to start asking this dude some questions that he's not going to understand. And he's going to give him some weird answer. And they're going to call the fight. If that exact same scenario would have happened in a commission like New York or something, that fight could have been ended easily. But Charles catches him with that Darce at the very end, and he's just trying to stay calm. Like he knows there's short time, just like stay chill. He was up on his knees, and then he like flattened out. Then he went back up onto his knees, and he was like being calm. But that ref wanted to fucking call that fight so bad. If there was another 30 seconds, they would have called that fight whether he went out or not. Little Nova said, "Do you think the post USADA had anything to do with Max's performance last night?" I'm not saying yes. I'm just asking for a friend. Could be. Could be. I mean, Max certainly looked bigger, and he fought at 155 before against Poirier, and Poirier pushed him all around the octagon. Like Max certainly got big. He certainly got big in that whatever time he had to get ready for this fight. But I mean, I think it played a part in everything. I think it played a hell of a part in Jamal Hill getting into that octagon last night. Like I'm sure he had peptides and Mexican supplements and whatever he could take to fucking get back in there. I'm all for I'm a proponent of PEDs in sports. I think there's a difference between like taking steroids as a bodybuilder when you're 25 and you're growing these gigantic muscles that do nothing to help the health of your body, and they're enlarging your heart and fucking everything else. And then I think there's a difference between that and having a catastrophic injury like Conor McGregor suffered and then taking steroids to help your recovery. But it's also like, yeah, TJ Dillashaw was taking steroids and EPO, but tell me it wasn't fucking awesome watching Dillashaw fights back in the day. Like that motherfucker, he was shoes to the tits with EPO, but he threw down and it was exciting as hell. Like I don't know if I would want it to just be open and guys to just do whatever they want, but then if that's what the deal is getting into it, I don't know. It's a tough situation. I think they shouldn't just like ban all substances outright. I think they should go through it, make a comprehensive list of things that are, physically beneficial, and get more intricate with it. Be like, all right, if you're injured or whatever, and you broke your leg, and you're allowed to take this, and this while you're recovering, but you can't fight until 9 months after your last positive test for this substance. I don't know. It's a touchy subject. Luke Thomas, who personally I think is a fucking douchebag, but professionally, he's like, he's one of the best in the business when it comes to technical breakdowns of mixed martial arts fights as someone who didn't fight themselves, but he puts his politics into his shit and I can't stand him. But he is like really big on this PED issue and he completely changed my mind. Before him, I'm like, PEDs are bad and you're going to die. And I just thought everything was, there was, everything was the same. Everything was D-ball or T-ball or whatever the fuck they call it. And like, I didn't even know that there were steroids for cardio, which is what TJ Dillashaw was on. So performance enhancing drugs are a touchy subject. Do I think? I mean, he certainly took supplements. He was certainly supplementing his diet and his training to make himself the best version of himself on that night. Was he doing it with substances that he knew were banned and did it anyway, now that's a whole other subject. Real sports bet picks. That was easy money. What was easy money? I don't think Max is juiced. It's easy to be natty and ripped at 155. And two, like define juiced, Like, is he TRT Vitor? That's juiced. Like, does his fucking do the top of his traps touch the bottom of his ears? Not necessarily. Little Nova says, I've been on TRT for 13 months and never felt better as far as mind or body. Dude, I'd love to get on TRT. There's a guy who works at, I know him through work, and he's just like, I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of him, but he's just kind of a schlub, if you will. And he's like, oh, I'm sluggish. I went to the doctor and he said I don't have enough testosterone. And it's probably because he eats fucking McDonald's and doesn't exercise and, you know, doesn't go into the sun. But his doctor he's on TRT. I'm like, dude, you're not working out. Like, fucking hit that shit. Go hit the gym. Start looking good. Start feeling better about yourself. Like, it boosted his mood. I'm like, that's the same shit you get from working out. Like, the amount of testosterone that added testosterone he got from that shot is probably equal to what he would have got if he, quit eating junk food 24/7 and started working out. So if he does that and gets the little extra juice, like, bro, I heard the trick is to, before you're gonna go get your blood work done, to go to like fucking Denny's or the Olive Garden or some shit and just gorge yourself on some food, and it like whatever drops your levels, and then that's why you're supposed to do it fasted. It drops your levels and you'll have low, like, your testosterone will be lower, and hopefully you can get some shit from the doctor. But it's also about where you live. Like, I live in Western New York, where doctors aren't like into fitness, and that's another thing. Like, I went to the personal physician or whatever that my wife goes to, and the dude's like old and fat and like out of shape and fuck, like, I want my doctor to be like in shape and fucking healthy and happy and, have an active lifestyle and play sports and shit. Like, this guy looks like he gets out of work and crushes a 30 pack and a pack of Marlboros. Eric said, I think if you need PEDs to be big between 35 and 65, you're lazy. But see, that's what I mean. The PEDs they're taking aren't like just to gain muscle. Like, Dillashaw was on EPO. That's, you don't have any, you don't notice a physical difference with that. You just have more red blood cells, so your cardio is better, you know. My buddy, I've one of my good buddies. I was mentioning there was a jiu-jitsu tournament yesterday, and he juices, and I was looking at the picture of him yesterday. He took gold in his division, and he's just like fucking. He's my age. He's 36, but he's fucking ripped. I mean, just fucking shredded. And he was like in the 205-pound class division. Like, the two guys standing next to him are just like regular dads like me, like just a couple regular looking dudes. And then there's Matt, like fucking, he's got muscles on his ears. What the fuck, dude? I mean, he didn't take steroids just to compete in jiu-jitsu. He takes steroids for fucking to get bitches or whatever. He just happens to compete in jiu-jitsu too. Nova said, I'm 47 and charted my test at 170 before I started it. I'm staying around 850 now. I don't even know what your level is supposed to be or what mine is. I gotta go to the doctor like soon just to get like blood work and shit. But I doubt they would even test for TR or testosterone now. I should ask for it just to see what it is. I don't think PEDs are bad. I think their illegality is bad. Is that the word? Probably saying that wrong. You might have one guy trying to follow the rules, another guy who isn't. Yeah, exactly. Which makes GSP's career that much more impressive because a lot of dudes were juiced to the fucking tits, and GSP was notoriously clean. In fact, I forget who the fight was, but maybe Josh Koscheck. I forget who he was going to fight, but GSP was like, I will pay, like, I'll pay out of my pocket for testing. We'll test each other the whole, or we'll both get tested. I'll pay for it. And the guy was like, nah, I'm good. Or no, not Josh. Who's the famous he's one of the guys who when they took away the TRT, he just like became a completely deflated version of himself. I can't think of his fucking name right now, but I should have just said it was Josh Koscheck, and you guys wouldn't know I had a brain fart. As soon as I hear Olive Garden, my testosterone drops. I'm a bread to stick away from having man cans. Fucking funny, dude. Muscle recovery, cardio, etc. Just using that as an example. I gotcha. Since Diego Lopez is a big featherweight, where would he rank in the lightweight division? I mean, he's got to rank in the featherweight division first. The dude's an awesome pro. I am so excited to watch him. Like I said, one of my bets was Diego Lopez inside the distance. The dude is a fucking fire plug. He comes out there to fight. He fights for your money. I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. Where would he rank in the lightweight division? It's fucking who knows. It's a whole nother division, and lightweight is stacked. And it's crazy to think that lightweight wasn't even they took it away, because no one wanted to watch the lower weight classes. And now it is like the division of kings. So Johnny Hendricks, that's it, little Nova. Thank you. He's one of the guys who just completely got deflated. Although, PEDs or not, I do think Johnny Hendricks won that fight against GSP. I'll give him that. He was like the Mack truck or some shit like that was his nickname. Do I like watching horror movies? Yeah. I'm not a big movie person, but if I'm going to watch a movie, it's either going to be like a drama, or like action drama, but not like a dorky action movie, like something like Training Day or Quentin Tarantino movie. I love Quentin Tarantino movies. But yeah, I do like horror movies. I actually have a thing. My mom and I would watch Halloween together on Halloween like every year. We did it from I remember specifically I was in the 3rd grade when she let me watch Halloween. My dad was hunting and it was just me and her, and she let me watch Halloween with her, and I fucking didn't sleep for 3 weeks. And then it was just a tradition we always had. We watch Halloween together. If we couldn't watch it on Halloween, I would make when I got older as an adult, I'd go back to her house and like watch it that weekend or something. But that was Michael Myers is my favorite. In fact, I want to get a memorial tattoo. My mom loved Peanuts characters, so I want to incorporate Michael Myers and Snoopy somehow and get a memorial tattoo for my mom. That I'm not going to get like in loving memory and have like Snoopy wearing a Michael Myers mask with a fucking knife, but I'll get the tattoo and I'll know what it means. Have you seen Godzilla -1? Not a horror movie, but Godzilla is pretty scary in that. Is that the new one? Because there is there's a movie theater in my town that has been here since the 20s, and the guy still owns it, and um, it's still open, and it's like one of those movie theaters that they play like it's like back in the day. He plays like one movie that week, and they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then like there's like a Wednesday matinee. But tickets are like $7 or some shit like that. But the movie that's up right now out there is the Godzilla one. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, yeah. Fucking the original Michael or the original Halloween for a third grader is some hardcore shit. And there was a titty. That very well might have been my first ever titty I've ever seen. How about it? I'm 30. Wow, shit. I just turned 37. So that was like the best part about horror movies when I was a teenager is you knew like you like rented Jason or whatever, you knew you were getting a titty shot. And that first Halloween, that was in the 70s, you know? So back then people, they came for a horror movie and they're like, "Oh my god, we got a straight full-blown titty shot." And it just took off from there. Andrew, what is up, my brother? Good to see you, man. How do you like the new setup? I got a fancy microphone. It lights up. Pretty sweet. I got lights and shit. I know the shadows are fucking terrible. I'll stop moving my hands around and stuff. But I have a laptop now, which is why the video quality might be a touch grainier than it was because I was using my iPhone before. But this just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Like I can make all sorts of I have no excuses anymore on like making my content. Now it's just finding time. Also, I'm technologically retarded, so it's a learning process. I was trying to my buddy Eric has been helping me along like every step of the way throughout this whole process. We've literally spent hours together at this point setting this all up. And he's like, "All right, so now you got Canva, and instead of doing it on your phone, you can just do it on the laptop." And before I went to go do this live stream, I had to put a thumbnail for the live stream. Well, I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out how to transfer the thumbnail I just made into a folder so I could download it onto the YouTube app or whatever. And finally, I knew he was spending time with his family, so I didn't want to bug him. And finally, I just texted him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, do this, this, and that," and then I got it in 2 seconds. Andrew said Chucky as well. So the reason we watched Halloween is because I was at my friend. Wow, this is crazy. Like it's all coming back to me. I was at my friend's house, and his parents were going to let him watch Chucky, and my dad said I couldn't. And I was all butthurt about it, and I was probably crying, like, "Let me watch Chucky." Nah." So when my dad went hunting, my mom was like, "Listen, you want to watch a horror movie? I'll show you some good shit." And she hooked it up with Halloween. Yeah, so that's why that was my first horror movie ever was Halloween because I wasn't allowed to watch Chucky. You're 37 too, bro? Let's fucking get it. Yes. Thanks, Eric. Eric is the fucking man. Tech-tarded. There you go. I'm stealing that. I am tech-tarded. I mean, I'm a 37-year-old construction worker. When it comes to welding, I could fucking drop a row of dimes. I can cut shit with torches. I can build a fucking elevator. But I cannot upload a fucking thumbnail to YouTube from Canva on a laptop by myself. I need my handheld. But that's okay. I'll get it one day. Paku, what is up, my brother? Good to see you, man. How did your job, what did you say it was? Not an interview, it was like an aptitude test. How did that go? John Dong said, "Are you looking for horror movie recommendations?" Absolutely, yeah. Horror movies are like the movie, the one genre that my wife and I both enjoy. Like I said, I like dramas and war movies and shit, and she likes movies about you know women getting kidnapped. Like all women, like everything she watches is about. It's like Dateline about some woman getting kidnapped and tortured. I'm like, why do you? Every woman watches this shit. Every podcast she listens to is like true crime. Fucking Paco said, "I made it. Hello, Mr. Professional. Look at this shit, bro. I'm fucking doing it over here. I got a laptop. Also, big shout out to my wife. She straight just bought me this laptop. I was putting it off. I told Eric I was gonna get one, and he's like, "All right, I'm buying one too, and I'll let you know if it's good." And then it came time to buy it, and I'm like, "Well, we got to pay bills and shit." So she went, you know, out of her way, took her own money, and straight just bought me a laptop. And then here we are. And then I was like, all right, sweet. Went and bought a microphone, bought some more lights, bought a stand for my, so the webcam is where it's supposed to be. And here we are, professional as fuck. Also, I promised you guys last week that I would do a live stream on Sunday. And I know it's about to be Monday in 3 minutes, but I kept my promise. Oh, I'm getting behind on the chat. Sorry, guys. Just getting paperwork done. I should have the job. Awesome, bro. I'm so happy for you. Paku, also, I gave a technical fucking I was talking boxing technique before you got here. I called the punch that Poatan hit Jamal Hill with a Mexican uppercut because that's what Faraz Sahabi calls it from TriStar. It wasn't a regular hook, and it wasn't an uppercut. No, a Mexican hook. That's what it was, like that shovel punch from the side. All right, sorry guys. I'll catch up on this chat here. Hey Eric, blue cheese. I don't know what the fuck that means. You have to watch. I can't even. Are you serious? All right. Well, I think we could actually watch it tonight because I took tomorrow off. I don't have to work. Gunjam Haunted Asylum. That sounds like some shit my wife would love. John, what where'd you get that movie? Is it on Netflix or what? Lil Nova said he's a true crime buff. My wife's all about that shit, dude. You know what's one of the most fucked up true crime stories that she's ever you ever hear about that dude in Cleveland who kept the girls hostage in his basement for years, and then he like had a kid with one of them and was raising the kid. He had these girls like chained up in his house for like 10 years, and then one day the girl, like, he left the front door open and the girl just ran outside. I know we are way off topic. I'm just in here bullshitting about stuff. It's not like we had the world's most exciting MMA event ever happen 12 hours ago. We'll just talk about the guy in Cleveland who had girls hostage in his basement. John also loves reading about true crime. Eric Swanson loves blue cheese. I love blue cheese. Here in Buffalo, blue cheese is like a thing. Like, we will rate a restaurant, and one of like the scales we rate it on is like, is their blue cheese made in house and how good is it? In fact, there's one place that we go to. They have like really good chicken wings, but their blue cheese is bullshit. It's like fucking Ken's in a pre-made fucking thing, but it's right next door to another place. So we'll go get our chicken wings and go next door just to buy blue cheese. Yeah, like if you put ranch on chicken wings where I'm from, you get punched right in the fucking face. She does. I think so anyway. She's pretty mean sometimes, but then she's nice. She's like one of them Sour Patch Kids. Have I ever seen Evil Dead? I think I think I have years ago. Is that the one with the dude who has a chainsaw on his hand? Hopefully I get this job, then I double my unit size. Like I said, fuck yeah, dude. That's the only reason we work, right? Thoughts on the new Mama Fighter Max Holloway? Well, first of all, thanks for coming in the chat, Nintendo. I don't know what the fuck your question means, though. The new Mama Fighter Max Holloway. Are you asking me thoughts on the new MMA fighter Max Holloway? Actually, last night was the first time I've ever seen him fight, but he's pretty good. You also need to watch, is that Caveat? Unpopular movie with a low budget, but it does good job for making you feel stressed and creeped out. Isn't that funny how like that's how we enjoy our movies? Like we want to have anxiety. At least me anyway. I don't watch comedies like at I will never be like, "Oh, I have 2 hours to kill. What should I do? Oh, I'm gonna watch a movie. What kind? A comedy?" Never. Like I've obviously seen them, but I've never gone out of my I'm like not a comedy fan, I guess. I like to laugh. I have a sense of humor, but like comedy movies aren't my fucking thing. Why I got blue cheese nickname because I love blue cheese to eat. Is that is that your last name? That's supposed to be a funny way to spell blue cheese. It was a lead uppercut, in my opinion, but call it what you want. It was a fucking bomb. Dude, he hit him with his pinky. He hit him with his pinky. Like, I don't know if you know this, Paku, but when you throw a punch, they say you should hit the guy with your lead two knuckles. I don't know if you know that. But he hit him with his fucking pinky and sent him to the shadow realm. And it was like wasn't even a clean strike. It was like blocked, kinda like he didn't. It was the power this dude has is insane. He is terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And all the shit that Jamal talked, like I don't know, his just personality comes off like a fucking douchebag. I'm so glad he got knocked out. It was a lead uppercut. Well, it was different than an uppercut. You got to admit that. It wasn't a straight uppercut. I can't get in the position and stuff, but you know what I mean. Like you throw a fucking regular uppercut. It was like a shovel punch. Shaun of the Dead, Walking Dead. That's like the in the Evil Dead program I watched. Amazon Prime, and it's also free on YouTube. I'm gonna have to this chat will be saved. So I'm gonna write that down because I know I'll forget. And then as soon as this stream's over, I can go out there and be like, "Hey, babe, I got a new movie we can watch." And then I will catch up on the chat. Blue cheese is where it's at. We are really fucking going hard on the blue cheese. I like to make Juicy Lucy stuff with blue cheese. That is a Juicy Lucy is a burger with cheese inside of it. Bro, I've been on such a fucking burger kick. I've been eating burgers like left and right. I love during the week I try to be healthy though. I'll make my eggs and I'll just have like the patties and that. But during the weekends, I've been fucking some burgers up. All right. Can we talk some fucking MMA? I think the worst true crime case I've ever read was the Darden family homicides. After reading the first paragraph of it on Wikipedia, I actually looked it up Oh, I looked up at the ceiling and said, "What the fuck?" I'll have to check that out. Dardine. I was smart with all my bets this week. Fucking killed it. I know, bro. I follow. I fucking tailed your smart ass. Dude, Charles inside the decision. That was plus 165 too. I should have fucking max bet that. I should have max bet that. You were right. Also, I bitched out and I didn't. I said I was gonna max bet Holloway, but I'm like, you know what, dude? I don't even want to jinx him, and I didn't bet him. Little Nova said he just looked up The Evil Dead. Which one's the best? And you guys are talking about prison videos. Big John. Is that someone you knew, Eric? The Sadness is another good horror movie. The Sadness. We're just getting all fucking horror movie recommendations. This is good though, because my wife picks like the same. It's like the same movie, just with different characters. It's like the same plot line on Netflix all the time. It's like some girl, she's new to the town. Some creepy dude seems cool at first, turns out to be a psycho. She has to escape. She beats him up and gets away. Fuck yeah, dude. Said when we meet up, we're having some Kansas barbecue. I'm fucking down. I can't cook for shit, but I'll take you to the best wing spots in Buffalo. And it's not the fucking Duff's or what's that other place everyone goes to? Western Mass says, my subscription page is too full. You didn't show up. Well, you're here now, bro. It's all that matters. Check out the new setup. Look at the microphone. I'm on a laptop. We're fucking professionals. How'd you do yesterday on your bets, Western Mass? Brandy came in to say hi. Hi, Brandy. Oh, she came in to say hi, but then she saw everyone talking about blue cheese and she stayed for the chat. That's right. We don't talk MMA in this chat. We talk horror movies, true crime dramas, um, blue cheese, and what else? That's pretty much it. Big John was the guy who dismembered a kid on the banks of the Kansas River. It's a real life horror movie. Holy shit. Did you meet this motherfucker? Paku said, you got to become my friend to get my tracked bets. Jacqueline and Lane are the only people I share them. But, dude, the other thing you got to understand is Paku spends as much time on his bets as I do at work every week. You know? Like, the dude is fucking. He's good, man. He's good. See, the thing too is you have to understand. Like, I'm not a big MMA better. I've said that a few times, but I know enough about it to know that there's good bets that don't hit and bad bets that do hit. So when someone is giving you a bet, or even you're placing a bet, you got to look at it. The bet you placed, the result that happened, doesn't necessarily mean that the bet was bad. If you understand what I'm saying, like, you know, you bet the guy to finish, or whatever, win by decision, and then some freak thing happens and they call the fight and the other guy wins by DQ, but the dude you were bet on was on a clear path to win by decision. Well, then that was a good bet. You know what I mean? And Paku always makes good bets. Like, obviously, everyone doesn't hit, but you guys will know. I haven't been following. Why did AJ shave his beard? What was the bet? I'm sure it was a bet that he said if this doesn't hit, I'll shave my beard. Was that the Yuri Prohachka one? Because that Rakic was his lock of the week. John Dong said, "Seen you in other streams." You talk? Have you? Are you talking about me? You seen me in other streams? Eric Swanson said that he lived in the same pod as the dude Big John who dismembered children on the banks of the Kansas River. Bro. Holy shit. I said that and then it like registered in my head. I'm like, holy fuck. Ugh. I'm glad you're my friend. Max earned every penny of that 600 bonus, huh? Bro. Like, to be honest with you, 600,000 for what he did last night is almost a fucking insult. Like, do you know how much notoriety, like how they were saying just in China alone, they had like 30 billion views of the knockout on YouTube, some shit like that. Like, what? Kayla almost had that match. Kayla won. My judo sensei is actually like 70, 71, 70 or 71. I think he might be 71 now. And he's not like a huge MMA fan, but he loves Kayla. Like he had her in his dojo and, she's an Olympic gold medalist and all that. So I was giving him like step by step updates. Did you guys notice in the post fight interview, Kayla was trying to give her opponent props because she reversed her? But what happened was judo isn't necessarily like a judo you can overthrow a judo throw. When Kayla Harris hit that Haraya-goshi and ended up on bottom, it had nothing to do with her opponent. Kayla just put too much into it because in judo, you get nippon, it's over. It doesn't matter if you roll through and your opponent ends up on top, which is the problem with ogoshis and Haraya-goshis is a lot of times to get them good, you throw and you overthrow. That's why it's not necessarily the best takedown for MMA, and why you see it in women's MMA more than men. Real MMA is because if your opponent weighs 120 pounds, you can grab her around the head, throw her on your hip, and throw her to the ground. You don't need to like put all your weight behind it and bonsai that shit and run the risk of getting rolled through. Which is, like I said, that's why you see Haraya-goshis and ogoshis more. Not that you don't ever see them in men's, but that's why you see them more in women's MMA. And then she hit like a modified ogoshi osoto where she just like took her leg out. It was awesome that she got to use judo in the match. My sensei was fucking pumped about that. Yeah, Eric, I don't know if you're a member of MMA Experts YouTube channel, but the guy on there, AJ, he's a good dude. I like him. Awesome YouTuber, sharp better and stuff. But yeah, he had to cut his beard off. What I'm sure it's in the comments here somewhere. But was that because he? Oh, here he goes. The comment right here. He had a bet for Rakic. Bro, did you have a money line bet on Yuri? I know you sent me your tracked bets. Was there a money line bet on Yuri in those tracked bets? Because I was jumping up and down and high fiving my fucking cousin and literally saying, "We're in the fucking money, baby." And I looked, and I didn't have Yuri's fucking money line. I had him in my parlay, but I didn't have a money line bet on him. Max and Yuri made that card. Would have been fairly average without them. I completely fucking disagree, bro. Well, yeah, it would have been it would have been like an above average card. But the one thing I was saying, this card was so stacked. There was so many awesome things that happened, and so many like so much cool shit to talk about that it's like getting lost. Like Diego Lopez is gonna get lost on it. Renato Moicano is gonna get lost. Um, who else? Aljo was, but whatever. Even the Cody Garbrandt Figueiredo fight. That's like so many things. Arman Sarukian and Charles Oliveira. Like there was a ton of good fights that just aren't really going to get. I think the one that I'm is probably going to not get the love it deserves the most is the Yuri fight, because Yuri was just, to use a term uh, from Uncle Weezy, he's not a minute winner. He doesn't go out there and control the fight and you know control the fight. He goes out there and just looks for that one opportunity to send you to the land of wind and ghosts, and then does it. Like, and he just had this look like he will not be denied. He was eating those leg kicks. Those things. He wasn't checking them at all. He was just taking them. Rakic would blast his leg with a leg kick, and then he would switch stance, and then Rakic would blast that leg with a leg kick, then he would switch stance, and he's just hands down. The other thing too is, have you guys noticed, you think since the injury, Yuri is a little less like weird with his, not personality wise, but fighting style wise? Like there's a little less weird spinny shit. He's still super awkward with his punches, with his hands like super low and like weird angles and all that. But it seems like he had like when he fought Glover, there was like another level of awkwardness that I haven't seen since the injury. Man, I start yakking, then I get way behind. Eric said, I can bet a lot of things, but my beard isn't one of them. Eric has a fucking phenomenal beard. I'll give you that, bro. What's the over under on the pay per view sales last night? Oh, I don't even know. If anyone knows, put that in the chat. I listened to the post fight, and they didn't give, they gave like the gate and all that shit, but they didn't mention the pay per view sales. Eric, your wife's bringing you in some coffee so she can make another pot. I have my, I got my blessed cup for Max. Is that what he was talking about? Someone said blessed mama earlier in the chat. Were they talking about my fucking cup? Anyway, this is full of Gatorade that has 230 milligrams of caffeine in it. They sell it like that. Dude, I drink this shit like it's going out of style. Not really. I have like one a day, but I had a long day today and I didn't sleep much last night. And I was super tired and I really want to do this live stream. And I was bitching out. I was laying in bed, and then Farasa Hobby came on the TriStar Gym channel, and I was watching that, and the wife came in. She's like, "You're not gonna go live?" And then I felt like a bitch. So here we are. I'm glad I did. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get one of those Gatorades and a Zin, and we're going live. Little Nova's saying 1 million on the pay-per-views. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Eric appreciates the coffee, Brandy. He's going to be up for a while. Max Holloway is a Canadian and he's proud of us cheering him on. He thanked everybody. He calls Toronto the 10th island because Las Vegas is the ninth. Eric doesn't watch MMA experts, but I've seen them in my recommendations all the time. Well, if you're looking for someone to, I started following him for his betting stuff. He's just a good dude, you know. It's not like the guru. He's not a fucking douche. You unsubscribe to my channel, motherfucker? Goddamn right you won't let it happen again. I don't know if you know who we have in here, but I will send Paku to your house, and if that doesn't take care of you, I'll send Eric. And if you didn't know, Eric was in the same pod as Big Jim, and that dude cuts up fucking people on the banks of the Kansas River. So don't unsubscribe. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't have a money line bet on Yuri, unless I just forgot. I thought I did. Totally thought I did. Maybe I just saw it in my parlay and thought that was it. Sometimes YouTube will unsubscribe you from certain channels. We've been growing like crazy, so the algorithm is confused. Fuck yeah, dude. We're just growing from here. You guys, you haven't been able to see it that good before, but like that Indian picture I got there? Pretty sweet. I gotta get a new one of these. I gotta put something different there. That's kind of corny. Yuri almost let that fight get away, but yeah, that's his MO. He's not a minute winner, you know? He doesn't control the fight and win it minute by minute. He just needs that one opportunity. Just like Poatan, you know? He doesn't need Poatan is technically not that great. Like he does a lot of things wrong. And Yuri is just he's more than not that great technically. He's completely unconventional and weird and takes I mean his career he takes way too many shots to the head and he just absorbs a shit ton of damage, but he's got the spirit of a samurai and that motherfucker will take your head off. Mm. I saw the preliminary, not the main event, at 10 o'clock because it went off air in my area. Holy shit, dude. I would have lost my mind. Paku said, I also said to you on Friday, Uncle Wheezy Four Leg is looking very good this week. You absolutely did, bro. You absolutely did. I had a decent sized bet on it, and it hit. Brady the sharpest dude in our space, Uncle Wheezy. Paku, before you came in, I literally said that exact thing. I said that in my opinion, um, Uncle Wheezy is like probably the sharpest better of anyone I watch on YouTube. And then once you get your channel up and running, he will be the second sharpest better I watch on YouTube. But he's good, dude. He is. If you guys are into that, like also it's good shit to listen to like as you're falling asleep because it's like super it's like a fucking accountant. Like he goes through the numbers. Like he's just rattling off different numbers for 2.5 hours. So you can fall asleep to it. Touching his gloves randomly. This chat has been speedier lately at MMA Jackal. What do you mean speedier? You mean, yeah, what do you mean speedier? My cup has a cactus on it and it says, don't be a prick. That's an awesome cup. My cup says, blessed mama. This is my new cup. I'm stealing this. I'm gonna put a little fucking thing over mama and have it fucking say. I'm gonna put Max, and it'll say blessed, and then here I'll put Holloway. I'll do that for the next chat. I did my hour live on Twitch. Now taking the dogs out. Then I'm going to bed. Well, good night, Brandy. If anyone post your Twitch stream in here, you can freaking gain a couple followers. We got 8 motherfuckers in this chat right now. You guys, there's a ton of echo right now with my microphone. Haunter wants to know who would shit. I don't know what to do about that. Whoa, ton of echo. Still echoing? Other than unplugging it and plugging it back in, I don't know what the fuck to do. How's it sound now? Any better? Probably not, because I didn't do anything. Give me 1 second here.